Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hey.
Is anybody listening?
Yeah. This one's from Gene in SF. I'm listening. I'm recovering from having been hit by a drunk driver in December.
Oh, God.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And have been casting about for new podcasts as I can't stand on my own thoughts right now. Discovering you two are podcasting again is just the tonic I needed. Thanks a million, truly.
Oh,
man, I wish you a good recovery and really sorry to hear that.
Man, what are people doing out there driving drunk?
Jeez. Okay, this is from Dal. Who is Ruby and Ramona?
Oh.
5 stars. I'm listening. I finally binged every episode as per St. Monica's recommendation, of course.
Glory be.
And was completely gooped when you quickly mentioned taking Maddie to Ruby and Ramona's for the weekend while the mysterious baby proofer came. Ruby and Ramona are the names of my best friends from childhood. Twin girls, and I can't get over the coincidence. I thought it would make sense, but who knows? Anyways, love you guys enough to sometimes yell at you in my car on the way to work when you're missing something. Thanks for your perspective, and it's nice to know there's other people out there navigating this wild world. That's so sweet.
It must be, okay, a few things. I want to respond to that. First of all, thank you for that review. Second of all, we have a lot of new listeners thanks to the Lord Baby Saint above St. Monica.
Baby Saint?
Well, I always say like Lord Baby Jesus Christ.
Oh, nice.
You know,
like
whatever.
That. Yeah.
And I think we forget that like we talk in this shorthand and assume everyone knows everything, but we need to be a little bit more conscientious.
Yeah.
So Ruby was our sweet, sweet dog we had for 13 years.
Yeah.
Who passed away a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And Ramona is our amazing cat.
Beautiful cat.
So I can see why that would be confusing.
Yeah, that's wild.
And then the other thing I wanted to say is it must be so infuriating listening to us because I think about the conversation we just had when we were talking about like, you know, we were talking about the R word. We were talking about like, this was last week's episode, you know, how to navigate pronouns, and
sure.
we're just two idiots
Yeah.
talking. And I wonder, it must be so infuriating because people are like, you've got it wrong, and they can't pipe in and go, hey guys, you just spent 40 minutes on this thing that let me just explain to you.
But you could pipe in if you left a review.
Hey, there you go.
I'll read one more. This is from Kendall. Re-downloaded Apple Podcasts just to write this.
Oh,
That's
Kendall.
going the distance. I'm listening to Elizabeth and Auntie's banter, and stories are so relatable, hilarious, and heartwarming. I find myself relating to both of them, though I think my wife's more of an Andy. And have really enjoyed listening to old Totally Mommy episodes on Patreon, as I'm a mama to a 13-month-old baby girl. Thank you for your persistent, honest vulnerability and giggles. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, amazing. And that's a great reminder for me to plug our Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/totallylame. Over 1,300 back catalog episodes.
Yeah.
A monthly-ish live stream that you and I just did on Friday night was so much fun.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to try it. I think we're going to post the full video of the podcast on Patreon. We're going to see.
Okay. Yeah. Let's not make any promises.
But I'm going to try it with this episode or the episode before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm going to just see. I'm going to see how ridiculous it looks. We're worried about how ridiculous we might look at some parts of taping this conversation.
Yeah. Like there are times where I'm like picking my note. Not really. Well, maybe.
For me, for sure.
But yes, I think that that's fun. And then also you have started posting a place for people to chat.
Yeah.
Now, no one has taken advantage of that yet on Patreon.
But here's my other thought. If there's the video, that might be the perfect place to chat.
Yeah.
We're all figuring it out. That's all to say. There's 1,300 back episodes on there, and we want to spice it up even more. So
we're trying to beef up our Patreon because it is nice to have some dollars to float this operation.
Love it.
I want to talk to you about something that came up the other night and you were like, let's save it, let's save it, let's save it.
Okay.
The crazy shit around George Santos.
Oh my God, that's at the top of my list. Okay, perfect.
Because
perfect,
I will tell you
perfect.
something, Andy.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Oh my
the
God,
only
I
thing
got you.
I said something to you the other night, like, do you know that he started a GoFundMe for like someone who had leukemia and then took all the money?
Yeah.
So literally, and you were like, that's just scratching the surface.
I
don't know anything, so you get to enlighten me.
Okay, I know more about what he's done than who he is. I guess he's a Republican new House in the House, right? A new guy in the House.
Man, they're best and brightest. I feel like the Republicans are self-destructing in front of our eyes.
This is, I think this is going to be less about the Republicans and more about fake it till you make it.
Well,
holy crap.
I don't know. Then you look at we've talked about this, like Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah, from Theranos.
Who was the other thing? Oh, we watched the Tinder Swindler. It's a documentary
Tinder
on
Swindler,
HBO, I think.
Even though WeWork guy kind of got ahead of himself in stuff.
Oh, that's
a little
different.
It's different. Yeah. Okay, so this guy, he was sworn into Congress whenever that happened, a month or two ago, and right out the gate, stuff started coming out of okay, this new Republican House guy, some of the stuff on his resume is not true. And then it has just gotten more and more bonkers. This guy is completely full of shit in every single aspect. And it's how did he get, it just blows my mind. So real quick, I'll go through some things. He lied about where he went to high school. Not a big deal, but you're kicking things off pretty early in the resume. He lied about where he went to college.
Where did he say he went to college?
He says that he went to Baruch College, but it turns out... Oh, wait, no, maybe he did. No, he claimed he got a finance degree from Baruch College. He did not.
Okay.
Then there's a biography of him that says he spent time at NYU. No one can corroborate that. He says he worked on Wall Street. Nope, he never did. So they're where... I'm going to skip where his money come from. What else? I just want to know all the crazy stuff. He lied about founding an animal charity. It's pretty deplorable.
Yes. Well, the one I read was someone legitimately had leukemia. Or did he fabricate someone that had leukemia?
Okay, so he allegedly swindled a disabled vet whose dog was dying.
God damn it. I mean, that's got to be... That's some new kind of low.
Okay, so here it says, what's the deal with his marriages? When Santos flipped New York's 3rd congressional district in November, he became the first openly gay, non-incumbent Republican elected to Congress.
Is he gay?
Let's get to
God
this.
God damn it. Why did he have to do this?
It's crazy.
Don't blight being the first openly gay. Finally some progress is being made, and then you turn out to be the world's biggest piece of shit.
Okay, so his campaign bio discussed his husband, with whom he lives in Long Island, along with 4 dogs. But Santos never appeared on the campaign trail with said husband. And the Daily Beast could not find a marriage record in New York. In 2019, however, Santos did divorce a woman in Queens.
So is he not even gay?
He and I quote.
I mean, I hope he's not. He seems like he wouldn't be.
I'm very much gay, he told the New York Post in December. I'm okay with my sexuality. People change. I'm one of those people who change. The crazy thing just is, though, he ran his campaign on his sexuality. That was a big part of his campaign.
I also don't saying people change.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you could change in the sense of oh, I'm now changing because I'm realizing this about myself, and I am in a marriage with someone who I love, but not in a romantic, you know what I mean? It kind of discounts some of the philosophy around being gay. I don't know. This guy. By the way,
this
do you
is
know?
weird. Wait. This is crazy though. So that marriage ended in 2019, right?
Yeah.
But in people like looking into this, in 2014, 5 years before the divorce, Santos sent Facebook invites to friends celebrating an engagement dinner with his boyfriend at the time. Santos' former boyfriend said the party never happened because he did not say yes to the proposal. So this must have been a different guy.
Okay.
So it's just like it gets very murky and weird.
Very shady.
He claimed that his mother died in 9/11.
Oh no.
Dude, you are not even like brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Oh,
This is okay. No one has been able to confirm. I don't know how old this article is. I feel like I heard that this is not true, but no one has been able to confirm that at all. His grandmother was definitely not a Holocaust
If you say,
victim.
I was just going to say, if you say Holocaust, I'm going to throw my computer across the room.
In an interview with conservative podcasts in May 2022, Santos said his grandparents survived the Holocaust.
No.
And his campaign bio claimed that they fled persecution during World War II. Apparently, according to genealogy records reviewed by CNN in the foreword, this did not apply to his family. There are no signs of Jewish and or Ukrainian heritage and no indication of name changes along the way. So
he's not even Jewish?
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm about to get to that, but it doesn't seem like
Hang on, can I pause you just for a second?
Yeah.
Because every time I see even a flash of him, all I can think of is the wonderful and much more attractive, but very similar looking actor, Nelson Franklin. Do you know him?
No.
He was on I'm Sorry, and he's so talented. But just look him up. Like, this poor guy.
Well, maybe Nelson will do... There's going to be a biopic.
Oh, yeah. He's got to do it.
Okay, this gets so fucked up. In an interview with WNYC following his election, Santos said he lost 4 employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I do want to say, like, similar to, I mean, it's hard to rate these people and where they land of things. And I just watched a documentary about Bernie Madoff and like all these people who just build upon lies. This seems a certain kind of evil when you're creating like fundraiser, like you were intentionally, I mean, Bernie Madoff did too, intentionally set out to scam people. But like, it almost seems like he gets off on this, like, I'm tapping into the saddest possible thing.
He's trying to link himself to some of the biggest tragedies.
To every biggest tragedy. And it also makes me think of that the writer Elizabeth, who was on Grey's Anatomy. Let's see. What was her name? Elizabeth Finch, who was the writer on Grey's Anatomy who lied about having cancer, like in cancer treatments while in the writer's room writing stories about cancer.
Yes.
She also had a lie that, what was it? It was a Jewish hate crime. Hang on. I got to find it. But basically, that she... Oh, the Tree of Life Synagogue mass shooting. It's so sad that I can't even there's so many of these.
Yeah.
She lied that a friend was killed in that and that she actually was there cleaning up the remains of her friend as per Jewish custom, which is like...
It's so crazy.
Absolutely false. And also it's so false that I'm like, okay, in your case, it's amazing she got away with it for so long, but like, what a sloppy liar you are. And in his case also, I'm like, when you're saying the Holocaust or 9/11, which was a long time ago, but saying something where like people can validate who was there and what happened. And in the case of this Elizabeth, like the police weren't letting people in to clean up.
Yeah, it's insane.
And if I heard that, I would go, they let people in to clean up. Isn't that like a crime scene that they're people are idiots?
There
and
must be
psychotic.
something with these, whatever personality disorder or whatever you call it, with these crazy liars. Like there must be some allure to these crazy things. Like
it
there
feels
must
like
be something
Trump,
so
like
salacious.
how far, what can I get away with?
But I don't think it could be that. I don't think that these people are like I think there's more of an attraction to how crazy those events with, and like, ooh, that'll make people feel something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, yeah.
Let me just circle back on the Jewish thing real quick. So, he has said over the years he's a conservative Roman Catholic, and he never claimed to be Jewish. I'm a Catholic because I learned my maternal family had a Jewish background. I said I'm Jew-ish. So like his way of getting out from saying he was Jewish was like, I wasn't saying I'm Jewish. I'm saying I'm Jew-ish.
Wait a minute. Is this like, was this after the Holocaust revelations
Yeah, I think
came
it's
out?
all, yeah.
And he's going, well, oh. And by the way, how complicated it must... Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Then it gets to, there was like, one big thing was like the drag queen in Brazil that came out. This one is the one that made me laugh. Was George Santos on Hannah Montana? Santos' resume inflation keeps getting more absurd. A Wikipedia bio user named Anthony DeVolder claims that following a successful drag career, he landed roles on Disney Channel shows such as Hannah Montana and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. After a stint in TV, the Santos bio then states that he hit the big screen with a role in a TV movie called The Invasion starring Uma Thurman, even though Thurman never appeared in the movie. He said he was a Broadway producer. I don't know.
Wow. I do think it's like when someone has links to tragedies that, like, more than one, like huge, that's a red flag. Like, that's worth looking into. Okay, this does remind me, a few episodes I mentioned my lying boyfriend that I had when I was very young.
Yep.
I kind of want to share some of his lies because they're pretty funny.
Whoa, okay.
In context. I think I've shared these before, but again, we have a lot of new listeners, so I apologize if you've already heard these.
Yeah.
But the initial big lie that I heard him tell so many times.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to say, like, this is not a George Santos, I don't think. My heart goes out to this person. Like, it's almost like they just couldn't help themselves. And it's, I think, a desperate need for, I think it stems from a deep, deep insecurity and like low self-esteem. And it's a desperate need to, I don't know, fabricate validation to feel better about himself. But the initial lie was like he grew up in a small town out somewhere in America. I'm not going to say too many revealing details. And it was around the time that Mission Impossible 2 was coming out.
Yeah.
And the story of why he came out to LA was always that Armani, this is wild. Armani, who dressed Tom Cruise, I guess, for the film and then the premiere, did a nationwide search for the next Tom Cruise.
It seems... You've told this story so many times. It seems plausible.
I know,
a little
right?
bit
You
to
hear
me.
it enough times. And they found him in the small town, flew him out to LA. So he was an actor and a singer. He played guitar. Dressed him. He went to the premiere of Mission Impossible 2. And that kind of like kickstarted his acting career. And he booked a commercial like right away or something like that.
Okay.
So then the story, like, over time kind of shifted. And I lived with this man for 2 years. There was a billboard of him, and it said, like, the next Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
On Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And then, like, one time we were on a flight, and I don't know how it came up. This is the other thing. Like, loved to talk about himself. Told a stewardess that... Okay, I will say he had a resemblance to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, what are we talking here on a scale of 1 to 10? We'll put a picture up on social media of both of them next to each other.
No. Back then he did. Oh, and he also like whatever. He had a resemblance to Tom Cruise, so people would say that to him a lot. Like, do you know that you look like? So that's how this would come up.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah.
They found me. There was a billboard of. Oh, I think actually it wasn't. He was telling me that a flight attendant, I wasn't on the flight.
Okay.
Said, "Do I know you?" And then he was like, "Oh, I had a billboard. It was up on Hollywood Boulevard."
Right.
And I was like, "I thought it was Sunset Boulevard." And he like brushed it off. Oh, it's both. He always kind of gaslit me, not in a like vicious way, but in a trying to protect his lies way.
Yeah.
And so, but the reason I thought of this is the George Santos Hannah Montana thing. I remember him. So he was an actor, and it was always like he was doing all these amazing things. Meanwhile, like his manager in hindsight was like very third rate. Like the stuff he was doing was nothing for me to go, wow. But at the time it was
gentle.
But at the time it was like, you know, he's the successful one, and I'm just like, it's never going to work out for me.
Yeah.
So I remember he was telling my sister that he got a call back for like That's So Raven.
Whoa.
And
that was a big show spinoff.
Raven Simone.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you didn't. And he totally was like, yes, I did. And I was like, I think I'd know if, I mean, you have to get a call back is like, whatever. Anyway, the lies were just, it's like this art form where they were so outlandish that you wouldn't even question them.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, okay, the Armani Tom Cruise billboard lie.
Yeah.
I kind of fuck with that lie because it's pretty creative. Like this, if this dude always, people are always telling him he looks like Tom Cruise, I kind of am giving him props for that lie. It's so different than these tragedy lies.
Yes, it's very different. But he was so committed to it. Like Limp Bizkit would come up on the radio and he would go, these guys are so cool. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, I met them at the premiere because they did indeed do the music for
MI5.
But it's like, was it, I now believe it was all a lie, but I'm like, how do you come up with that? And was there any seed of truth to it? Like, I don't think Armani was doing.
Yeah, and for listeners, the way that this whole thing ends up, like Elizabeth later found out that he'd been married before.
I found his wedding album in our shared apartment. That was really my apartment.
So we're talking like lies upon lies upon lies upon lies.
Yeah.
This particular one, I do have a weird little fantasy that someday someone, maybe him, will send a picture of the billboard.
No. God, don't put that out there.
Now, what if you got a picture of that billboard was real? That would be
I wouldn't believe
funny.
it. I would think it was photoshopped. And by the way, wouldn't he have had a picture of that billboard?
I would hope so.
But I never saw it.
Yeah, no, you never did.
It didn't exist.
The whole like fake it till you make it. I am so averse to all of this, and I can't do it in ways where I'm like, I can't even do like tiny lies.
I know you can't.
I can remember early in my career in LA, I did some official remixes for Lady Gaga, for Drake. Mm-hmm. The Drake song I did, Kanye and Eminem were on it, and Lil Wayne.
Britney.
Was Britney official? I don't know if Britney was official. Anyways, let's start with Drake and Lady Gaga. I can remember, when you're sending your bio around to people, I can remember my manager, if it was you right now, you say Elizabeth Lamb, and maybe in parentheses, it would say the shows you've worked on, right? So it would be like, hey, Dr. Rose and Rose in parentheses, Lady Gaga, Drake, something else. And I'd be like, you can't do that because it looks like
I
produce their albums when I just did remixes.
Yeah.
But people do that
all
the time. But I'm uncomfortable with that.
I know.
Like,
you're
it's
like,
a lie.
You're like, remix. I could see you being like the next parentheses, like just the remixes. So I didn't produce their albums, but I am a really good producer, like
right.
getting into it. I know.
But where I wish I had a little bit more of the like, fucking just inflate stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
Because these are the George Santos thing. I hate his lies, but I'm like, it's so crazy you got so far doing this. How
People
did
do that? Look at, Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
And also, Anna Delvey.
Great. She's
duped people, and in a weird way, the Anna Delvey one is kind of beautiful and in its fucked upness, but the fact that I think she kind of proved this this thing that's hollow and lacking in our society, which is she walked the walk and played the part, and that we put such a premium on social status and wealth.
Yeah.
That once you buy into that about someone, it goes to show how many doors just that alone open for people that other people have to claw their way towards. I mean, it kind of shows this incredible disparity in what wealth means to people in this country.
Yeah.
Versus, the fact that she's able to have, just because she's deemed to be this wealthy person, not even successful, it's family money.
Yeah.
All of these people are lining up to give her millions and millions of dollars versus someone who actually is trying to set out to start a business, who needs a business loan, who has to
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so interesting to me.
I think it's all, you bring up one point about the wealth. I think in that particular story, wealth is a big part of it. But I think in general, it also becomes a thing that all the victims that get in the orbit of these people that buy in, the more and more that you have, the higher and higher the stakes are. Mm-hmm. These people don't want to believe that this could all be bullshit. So it takes them such a long time to come around to it, because they will cling to denial as long as humanly possible, because then they have mud on their face when it all falls apart.
Well, look at, Bernie Madoff, who, by the way, finding out that it was all a fraud was the cause of multiple people dying by suicide.
Yeah.
That's how any one of us who are listening, if we were so fortunate to have the kind of wealth that could be invested with Bernie Madoff, would not even bat an eye, because you assume that someone at that level has been vetted a million times over and has to abide by all of the FDIC laws and all of the financial laws that are in place. That was an epic failure for him to get that far on so many, an unbelievable amount of failures had to happen for that to work out the way it did.
He just fooled person after person after person.
But it's because he had this financial credential that wasn't even,
he was smart because he also had a legit he had a legit resume happening. He had good stuff that was true happening and the lies at the same time.
Well, it's like what we said about, remember we were talking about the dog groomers, to have a good front for money laundering or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to have a good business.
Yeah. So if you're laundering money through a dog groomer, be the best dog groomer in town.
Be the best you can be.
Respect.
Yes. Yeah. But faking it till you make it. You and I just don't have the DNA.
I also, my bullshit meter goes off so quickly. When I see other people doing that, I'm just like, ugh. I'm averse to it, where I don't know.
We know a number of people in Hollywood. I will say there's some people in writers' rooms that I'm just like, yeah, that dude's not a fucking writer. He just falls ass backwards into things because he enters a room in a certain way and he lies about his experience and people buy it. And I know he's working, and I'm just like, and it's not just he's working. Those people also tend to rise the ranks in a very fast way.
Ambition.
But also those types of people will burn a lot of bridges. So it's kind of I know this one guy I'm thinking about, there are a lot of people in Hollywood who really don't like him because they kind of see through it. But there are a lot of people who eat it up and buy in. And the thing is, now he does have experience because he's faked his way into enough writers' rooms. But I want to do the thing of this guy that our friend who was in a room with him told us. And I wish I could give credit, but that would be too revealing.
Okay.
But this guy would and does like rides on the coattails of all of the other writers in a way that gives him the glory for things.
Okay.
So in this case, imagine like the showrunner's walking in. The showrunner's been off like finishing scripts or whatever, is walking in, wants to hear what the writers have come up with for the next episode.
Okay.
So you be the writer who's pitching it to him, and I'll be this phony guy.
I'm a writer pitching what to who?
Pitching
what the ideas we've come up for the show?
The ideas to the showrunner, and I'm the phony guy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, so this is where we
Oh,
landed.
you're going to love this. You're going to love it.
This is where we landed, boss. So, we're going to start out up in the mountains.
Like, like up, it would be like kind of like Big Bear or something like that. It's great. Go ahead.
And there will be like a little cabin.
Oh my God. So charming.
And Ronnie will come running out of the door, like blood falling like off of his face.
And this is what's crazy. I was thinking like the more gruesome, the better. We're just destabilizing start, shock from the gate. Go ahead.
And he doesn't have boots on.
Freezing.
So his feet are very cold. But then right then we'll cut to the inside of the castle.
And that is where you're like, whoa, right? I mean, yeah, like I was thinking that this would be kind of an amazing.
And as you know, the castle is where James and Meredith have been cooking.
Yeah, we all know that. Todd.
Okay.
We all. Okay, I don't know why. Anyway, James and Meredith, they're cooking. So go ahead.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, anyway, that's how he is, which is, ugh.
Damn.
But that was really fun to do. I like doing that.
So you should start doing that at work.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, that's fake it till you make it. Can we talk about Mario Kart?
Oh my God.
Last night. Because I know how I experienced it, and I'm very curious. I just want to tell you some of my thoughts, but I got to hear your whole thing first.
Okay. I mean, I'm a little hesitant to do this because I don't think it maybe makes me seem like the best parenting choice, but I was like thinking through it as this was happening.
Yeah.
To set the stage.
Please.
The four of us played Mario Kart last night. Fun, wonderful family time.
Love it.
Together. Teddy and I had a magical day making rainbow bagels and being like team mom, daughter. It was so much fun.
Love it.
And what I will say is that I am just gifted and skilled at playing Mario Kart. You're
number
player.
one in the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's measurable by the number of wins I've had.
Yeah.
I'm number one, I'd say 80% of the time. This is painful for Andy.
A little bit.
Okay. So we're sitting down to play.
Yeah.
And how did it even start?
That was kind of the thing, and you might know more than me. I just started clocking it once I could feel your energy. But it was something about, maybe it was, I think she might have just been like, I think Daddy's going to win. It might have been as simple as that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, why?
Why on earth would you think that?
Heavens, why? Based on just like a feeling that came out of the clear blue sky?
Based on like complete and utter fantasy, something that could not possibly happen.
So, and you are also very good, but I'm
not eking out the wins as much as
you're winning sometimes. So it's not like outlandish, but I also just kind of wanted, whatever. And she was like, no, because he's so good. Yeah. And I was like, well, but I'm better. So, and she was like,
as this is happening, let me know. I want you to know that I was like, oh boy, here we go. And in some ways it was kind of like amping me up for the game, because it was kind of like, now it was like, ooh, I gotta maybe shine, because I could see that.
Well, that's nice to hear, because I think at one point I threw it to you and I was like, Andy, wouldn't you say I'm objectively the best play, like a better player.
And I gave that to you.
You didn't right away. I think that it came back around when you saw that it was like a Mayday situation because this went on. And then I felt like, well, I'm going to fucking smoke these fools.
This is what I wanted to get to, but let's not get there yet. But this was the nugget that I want to talk about.
Okay, so it kind of continued, and she's like, well, I'm not saying that you're worse than him, but I'm just saying you're the same. And I was like, well, honey, but we're not, because I have won so many more games. And okay, I do want to say last week we talked about this. Earlier in this day, we were at a barbecue.
Yeah.
And there was a woman who's talking about like pickleball, and she did say in front of Teddy,
yeah,
I hate to admit it, but usually the guys are better. And it was like an offhand comment, and it was in context of what she was saying. And it was, but like, it really bothered me that Teddy heard that. Okay. And so that was probably setting the stage for me to come in a little strong, because I wanted to be like, why are you assuming daddy's like, is my child looking at this and being like, well, this is something that daddy's just like, the assumption is that you're better at than you are, when we can just look scientifically at the wins and see that is not true. And so I wasn't going to let it go. Like normally, probably I would have been like, okay, well, we'll see it.
Yeah.
And taking it for the fun, like pregame banter it is.
Sure.
But I was like, no, I'm better, and I want to be recognized as such. Yeah. And I'm not letting this go. Yeah. And so then I smoked all your asses.
Well, listen, let's pause for a minute. I then knew.
Yeah.
I came into it in the early stages of this like, oh, I'm going to bring the heat. Oh, God. Like I felt challenged now, right? Yeah. And I did win the first game.
Did you?
Yeah, the very first game I got first place. But then I looked over at you and then I was like, oh shit, no, in her mind, she is like, I'm going to smoke these fools. I knew the conversation that had been had, and then looking over at you, that like, I knew internally you must have been like, I'm going to destroy them.
You know what? And I did then. And like, I also want to say, I don't regret this. I think this was important. I do think there was some weird kind of bias from Teddy's perspective where, like, I think it's important for her to see that I'm better at things. Yeah. That might normally be like considered male-dominated spaces, where like because I honestly really thought about this after the fact, and I was like, did I come in a little hot? Yeah. Normally, I probably would have just been like, okay, and had it kind of like annoying to me.
Well, that's what's kind of funny about this scenario. There is a world where after the first comment, you could have laughed it off. Yes. Right that second.
Totally. I could have been like, okay,
we'll see about that.
Yes, exactly. But I don't regret it. I think that it's an age appropriate, like, I didn't make her feel terrible or anything. No, but I just needed her to know.
It was, and it made for a very competitive game. And it was also...
It was really fun.
It was pretty funny, and funny too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great.
I'm glad we worked. I mean, I'm glad you won, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because that would have been painful.
Yes, but like, I never had a doubt.
I did win 2 games, though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Out of 8.
Out of 8, and you got first place in all those other games except one. You came in second. I wasn't keeping track.
Yeah. I'm just good at it, you know?
You are really good at it.
But anyway.
All right.
Okay.
Sweet.
Well, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Nobody's listening, right?